Welcome to the Astrid Mueller Show. My name is Astrid Mueller. I got well from breast cancer stage 4, and I wrote the book Permission to Sparkle. I'm on a mission to inspire people around the world to what's possible. Today, I'm here with a special Integrative Wellness Leader Talk series where I interview leaders in wellness and we get to discover ideas to support ourselves: body, mind, emotion, spirit, soul. Get ready for an inspiring interview and to discover what's possible. Hi, everyone. I am here with a almost solo podcast episode, actually with an impromptu conversation snippet that I had with my community of wellness providers from my Integrative Wellness Network. We have calls where we meet twice a month to empower ourselves, to bring wellness to ourselves as we lead wellness businesses. And we just had a really intriguing conversation around how do we sparkle in challenging times. And specifically, the topic angle that showed up was caregivers. And what if there's a lot of challenging things happening with health for somebody in your circle, right? So how do caregivers sparkle? And when I say sparkle, I mean, how can they nourish themselves and feel strong enough to care for others in really challenging times? And so we had that conversation and it was really intriguing. And I spoke with two of my members of the Integrative Wellness Biz Lounge that we have on School, if you're curious about more of that. So the conversation was all around wellness, but also soul sparkle and inner sparkle. And spoiler alert, there is a key in there that we sometimes forget when we live our lives on autopilot or just, do and want to get things done. And we're trying hard to maybe get a grip on life. And maybe we're trying hard to function in a challenging time, which the world is kind of challenging right now. Where do we find back to that magic and that inner strength and magic that we have? That's a conversation that I want to bring the snippet of from our joint conversation. So enjoy that and be curious for yourself. What comes up for you when you hear that? What comes up for you maybe in a different life area? Maybe it's a parallel life area, because this conversation, you can apply it whether you're a caregiver, you can apply it whether you're working a lot in business and kind of missing the joy piece, whether you are really frustrated about what's happening in the world right now in politics. You can apply this conversation for any life area. If you're not fully feeling sparkling right now, put on your curiosity hat, be curious, have a listen, and then be curious what shows up for you personally to give yourself permission to more sparkle. Enjoy. Okay, Terri or Laura Ann, you want to share?
Well, maybe you all have ideas. I was thinking about a book to support caregivers of cancer patients.
Nice, yeah.
And the self-care they need, the burnout they feel. I'm just not finding a lot of books on it. So I thought it might be, I know there's a need because I hear women talk about it. Their spouses who lose patients and that kind of thing. There's also a lot of divorce that happens when women have severe illness. Anyway, I just can't figure out what the topic would be. But anyway, that's what I was working on.
Cool. Well, what happened, the way I approach things like this is I feel into it and I let it be there as an idea, and then I allow the allow it to land for me, like if it calls me, and I feel like if you're curious, like, oh, is there something for me? And you just go about your
Mhm.
life and look in the sunshine, do your thing, clean the house, whatever, bake bread, right? I feel your idea will land if that's a piece that draws you, and it will not come so much from, oh, what do people need, and like that kind of thinking from your logical brain, but it will come through your intuition of like, oh, that feels juicy, and oh, that kind of thing. So that's one way how I allow things to come in, and then the other is sometimes I do brain dumps with AI where I give like all the things of like again tuning into what feels sparkling to me personally, right? So like it might be like something like, oh, I've talked with like 3 people, this topic is like really important to me, these aspects really speak to me, and I've seen this trans, I love doing this and this and this. What book title do you like, do you whatever, like you get your question, right? And then
Yeah.
you get this whole like reflection, and like you kind of get a brainstorming bubble, and then you can again feel into, well, does anything feel sparkling here that you want to explore further? And you kind of have like this bounce back conversation. That's how I have been recently playing with things, finding my own ideas. So I see it like an alchemy energy, like curiosity, like, do I want to play with this or no? So it's a different approach than just thinking and looking what's out there. It's more of like, what do I want to manifest? What resonates with me, and like my intuition. And you're a creator, right? I'm encouraging you to come back to you and what really calls you in your heart, and not so much from like what should be out there, because your magic is going to be your magic. And of course, people will soak it up. And yes, that field is huge. It's a big topic for sure. And I think even like like the biggest one I can imagine is like caregivers giving themselves permission to sparkle, and maybe one day I will have a book in that direction. I don't know. But like it's really like the mind stuff that's what comes up for me. Like even giving yourself room to do anything, right? Because you feel so like you can feel so entrapped in that, and like, oh, I don't have a right to even complain because, oh my gosh, my spouse has it so much worse, right? Who am I to say I have a headache, whatever, right? So then totally ignoring everything, and like anyway, that's a huge topic. So if it feels sparkling and juicy, I would just stay curious and see where it leads.
Compassion fatigue is what came to my mind. We
Yeah.
can be compassionate and want to help people, but there
Yeah.
comes a point where we burn out or
Yeah.
get overwhelmed or all of that.
You know what's so funny when you said it? I only heard passion fatigue, and that no, it's interesting because that's also part of the conversation, right? They don't give themselves permission to their passion.
Right.
It's just sleeping, right? Because you don't, and if we don't feed our soul, this is a whole podcast conversation.
It
Right?
is.
If we don't feel like feed our heart and soul, like you literally don't feed your own life force, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and maybe they feed their heart and soul by taking care of their person, right? But that might not be the whole picture. Most likely, it's not.
And Astrid, truthfully, I think that's what you do for us.
Oh, and what do you mean? Like what?
Meaning you help us not get compassion fatigue because we're
Oh,
always helping others. Yeah.
oh, wow. Okay, okay, great. Oh yeah, because I do
Okay.
permission to sparkle for everyone, right? I bring you back to you.
That's
Well, thank you
right.
for saying that. Yes. Yeah, because that's how we sparkle when we live in our sparkle. And yeah, you get to tune up your sparkle with me. Yes, yes, yes. Do that.
That's
Interesting.
awesome, Terri. I have one little wisdom on that too. Again, when you're trying to make form, right, like a book or a podcast on it, we so want to go to our right brain. When you were talking, all I could think of was the image of my mother-in-law taking care of my father-in-law as he was dying of lymphomic cancer. And she literally was withering away before my very eyes. And she's still alive now, and that was, 15 years ago. But talk about the suck of the passion, as you were talking about. So that image in my mind that I go back and my heart resonates, like, what could I have done to give to her, right? Like seeing this woman just implode. She gave every ounce of her being to my father-in-law. And did she have to do that? I don't know as her judge, but she couldn't have held on much longer. I mean, she was literally deprived herself of everything before he died.
Just doesn't work like that. We can't go diving without an oxygen tank. That's another metaphor,
Exactly.
right? I mean, like, dang,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Try to help people recognize, like you did, Laura Ann, recognize that in others so that we can support them.
So, Terri, I have a play prompt for you.
Okay.
So since you brought it up and said, I do this for you guys, passion fatigue and stuff, I'm encouraging you for yourself to be curious about that topic for yourself. Like, where might you be leaning into giving, producing, and where might you be negating your own heart, passion, all of that? Is there something there? Be curious about that, And then if you play with that metaphor that just came up and you go diving, right? Like, what do you need for oxygen? And like, what, that kind of thing. And celebrate yourself how you're already doing that, right? How are you diving right now, doing these things where you feel truly lit up with your soul sparkle doing it, right? Like, what would it look like if you were fully lit up and not, where, like the way you showed up in this call, there's no judgment, right? But like I heard you, I feel that you can use more sparkle. And I feel that you were like, oh, I didn't have the energy and I wanted to do more. And you were kind of sad. And I don't know if you were judging yourself or whatever, but like, so I feel like you didn't get the right oxygen mix right now, right? Like in the diving. So what do you need more for your real sparkle deal that you're diving and and maybe sometimes you're above the ground and not diving, right? Like maybe sometimes you're just sitting in the sunshine like a mermaid and you have your flippers in the water and you're like, yeah, and it's okay. I am here right now. And like, I'll go down when I want to go down. You know what I mean? So play with that for yourself. And that's the same topic that you're curious about for others, right? Interesting enough.
Exactly.
So as you're playing with it for yourself, just be with that and do that for yourself. And then see, suddenly some epiphany might come to you. I'm like, hot dang, girl, this is what I did and this is what they can do and whatever, right? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, it makes me think of the same coping skills I have in my other books. Only it's just for a different segment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
exactly right. That's what experts do. They take the same basic thing and put a different dress on it, so to speak. Oh, this feels good for you. It's you. It's still the same core truth.
That's right.
Yeah, and so you get to play with your own wisdom for yourself in a different life situation, right? And then you can translate it for others. But first, we got to do it for ourselves. You're just like, here to take this oxygen mask, and I'm take it in. I'm not breathing, but you can have it. Yeah, I'm exaggerating. You're doing great, Terri. But
thank you.
I'm giving it to you as a curiosity prompt because I feel there will be gold and inspiration coming after you fill your tank and fully sit with that, that whole vacation deal of like being on vacation when you're not physically there.
Yes.
Create that for yourself. So if you feel your tank is freaking full and bursting, do that. Laura Ann, what do you want to share?
I'm kind of the opposite of Terri, or maybe I'm the same. I don't know. I'm filling my tank. With your vision, I was like laying down in the grotto. It was a beautiful spring day. It almost made me think of The Sound of Music, where they had the little grotto and the river. And it was like, there's so much beauty. And right now, as I look out, all the cherry trees are in blossom. And there's that feeling of, why am I pushing myself so hard? Or maybe, I'm not quite filled with my oxygen yet before I begin whatever I begin. Like I'm feeling it in my body, like just be gentle. And sometimes in life we're thinking, oh, it's going to be all work, right? Like I'm on this, but yet other things in our life do really take precedent. For example, my daughter's boyfriend asked for her hand in marriage. And he hasn't proposed yet, but this is going to be coming. I was listening to my son today, and he's been off towards the end of the year. He's going to be moving, or maybe first of next year, to Miami to go to a school to work on international planes. So then he can work on Boeing and international planes. So it's like all of a sudden, everything in my personal life is changing. And I'm feeling like my husband and he just got a new job. Like our whole roles are pivoting and what we're living through. And so maybe the passion I had for work, I don't have the volume open right now. I'm needed in other places to this really savoring of this beautiful season right now as everything is about to just change and change, not bad or good, but just change completely. So how do I stay grounded? And it's like coming back to presence. Just be present. The miracles are there. The opportunities are there. You don't have this, going back to that image of my mother-in-law clinging on so tight, right? Like, I'm going to make it through and we're going to do this. My body wants to just relax. And it's just like, it's beautiful right now, Laura. Enjoy this beautiful moment right now, not tomorrow, right now. The magic it's there, but we can't force it. It's just, it will happen, and honor that. So if my body wants to be filled up with all this spring beauty and savoring these times of, my daughter about to get married and the last days with my son, let me savor that time.
Nice. I love this, Laura Ann, and I love this conversation. It's so important, especially right now, because a lot of people are so stressing out all over the planet, whether it's with disease or other things, right? And one thing that you said, Laura Ann, that keeps coming back to me in everything and everywhere. You talked about being present. Right. And I feel truly that's when we connect with our superpowers. So being present. And you also talked about enjoying the moments, which can be a bridge for some people when they think, oh my gosh, I can't enjoy anything right now. I have to, blah, whatever. But when we give ourselves even like a short moment. And I remember being when I was totally years ago, burnt out in New York, doing all the things. And when I had a friend, thankfully, who took me on Saturdays, go out in the sunshine and look at the blossoms or whatever. And that was filling my tank, right? And I didn't do enough of that back then. I actually had a burnout crash with health symptoms that ended up I got vertigo and all kinds of crazy stuff. But that is where we come back, and that is where we give ourselves the oxygen and fill our tank. And that is also where we empower ourselves. And that is where the inspiration will come from again after we filled our tank. So sometimes we're so trained to the logic, the performance thinking of our society, right? It starts in school, oh, you have to deliver this by this date, right? And yeah, sometimes timelines can be helpful, and sometimes there are timelines, and we got to figure out, okay, how do we get our inspiration on that time? But if we have the capability or just choose to take it and allow the flow of coming back to present, allowing it to come, trusting that it will come when the time is right, we'll get the right resources, the right information. If we take care of ourselves first, and like you say, those magic moments, savoring them, and we can't force magic, what you said, right? Like that's when our magic actually is already there. You said the whole thing, Laura, and right, like you already have magic in your life, and like connecting with that feeling, I feel that's also like the energy of magic that we're kind of with our brain looking for. Like, I want the magic, but like we don't even see it if we don't come back to the present that we already have it. It might look different right now, but that energy, if you look at things in from the lens of energy, we have the energy of magic around us. And that if we connect with that and be in that, that's when we get more inspirations for more of it naturally. And it will come to us. Yes, you can't force it, right? I feel that's how the full circle happens. So that brings the whole conversation back to basically keep practicing to get out of our head and into our full heart intelligence. Is how I'm starting to talk about it, come back to our heart, come back to being present. Like,
instead of the word forcing, it's something about shifting that to collaboration and sharing, right? Coming to this group, I get more inspired, more aha moments. And it's not that I force anything. It's just I share, or Terri shares, and I'm like, oh, that is such a missing piece. And all of a sudden I'm fueled. So it's taking it out of the intense right brain and letting the left brain just flow and create and have fun with that.
I love that. And you bring in one aspect like community and conversation that also is part of our oxygen mix, right? That we can, yes. Terri, did anything come up when you heard all of this? Like,
yes, in fact, I wrote down lots of ideas, where
Fabulous. Ideas, right? We want lots of them. We want so many ideas that there's more than we could ever, quote, do. We just want to be filled, because then we're like, yes, somewhere we'll use some of those.
When you say ideas, Terri, do you mean ideas for oxygen kind of mix, that kind of thing, or ideas for your book? Or okay, cool.
Ideas, a better way to think about my book topic.
Okay, cool.
Specifically caregiver support, to give myself permission to sparkle. That will help drive ideas and generate.
Yes. Yes, I love it. I think this is one of the most under talked about myths in society, that true magic comes from when we become present and not when we look outside. Isn't that weird? It's like, it is. We hear it, but like there's so much conditioning around that. It's weird how sometimes, or maybe we just forget because it's old wisdom, right? It's old wisdom. I mean, Awesome. Welcome back. So what showed up for you? Intriguing stuff, right? I want to encourage you to take a moment to take note and just listen to your insights that showed up for yourself, and be curious if you find something for your own life that you might like to try on. If you love the concept of integrative wellness, and perhaps you're also a business owner in this field, in the wellness field, medical field, health field, and you want to bring more wellness into your business and world while you're taking care of others, we have two amazing communities with the Integrative Wellness Network. One is the Oasis, which is our public wellness community. You find it on School, and it's called the Integrative Wellness Oasis. Free to join, and you find more inspiration like this there, and resources for health and wellness, body, mind, emotion, spirit, soul. We also have a community for wellness business owners, and that community is also free to join. And it's a space where you can connect with other health and wellness providers, find complementary, cool collaboration partners to bring comprehensive wellness to people. And we have wellness business support in there. Like this call excerpt that you just saw now, we have several calls a month where we always come back to our own inner sparkle in the calls. so that we hear our own inner brilliance, so that we feed our heart and soul, and then we can sparkle bigger and do our magic for the world. That community is called Integrative Wellness Biz Lounge on School. Check out these communities if any of this calls you, and we will see you in next episodes. Until then, keep following the sparkle.